Okay, so welcome po sa ating lahat. So I'm making a video. So yung video pong ito ay intended para sa aking mga estudyante dyan sa Fundamentals of Accounting Part 2. So Fundamentals of ABM Part 2. So yung unang chapter po natin is about the statement of financial position. So dyan po mag-start yung ating chapter 1 for this course, no? At before we start, ano po yung mga objective natin, yung gusto nating ma-achieve, no, ngayong pag-uusapan natin ng statement of financial position, no? First, kailangan nating ma-identify ano ba yung mga elements na nakapaloob sa statement of financial position. Kailangan din nating mabigyan ng description, no, yung bawat isa. So in your basic accounting or in your fundamentals of accounting part 1, meron po tayong alam na 5 accounting elements, no? Yun po yung assets, liabilities, equity, revenue, and expenses. But inside the statement of financial position or commonly known as the balance sheet, yun pong tatlo, no, na elements po yung nandyan. Okay? Then, ngayon po i-classify natin itong mga elements na to into current or non-current items. And then, goal din po natin na yung ating students would be able to prepare a statement of financial position ng isang single or sole proprietorship. And then, kung anong klase po ng statement of financial position yon, he or she can use a report form or an account form. Okay po? So, simulan na po natin. So, unang-una, kailangan natin mabalikan ano po yung tinatawag na complete set ng financial statements. So, yun pong complete set ng financial statements na yan. There are 4 basic, no, financial statements. Ano po yun? Meron tayong tinatawag na statement of financial position, which sabi ko nga po, commonly known as the balance sheet. And then the other one, yung statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. Or ito po yung alam natin na tinatawag na income statement. Okay? And then the third one ay yung statement of changes in equity. Or nung pong kapanahonan ko, tinatawag din namin yan na capital statement. And then the fourth one, which is dedicated to one of the assets, no, na alam natin, the most liquid asset ay yung cash. So, may dinedicate po na separate statement para sa kanya, yun po ang statement of cash flow. And then yung pong ikalima, yung notes to financial statement is not actually a basic or a formal form of financial statement, pero because it is required by the standard, no? Required po ito ng ating mga accounting standards dito sa Pilipinas, and also yung ibang gumagamit ng mga financial reporting standards na ma-disclose natin, no? So magkaroon tayo ng relevant disclosure or full disclosure ng mga relevant information, no, na maaring mag-supplement or maaring hindi natin at the face of the financial statement ay makikita natin, no, dun sa balance sheet, income statement, statement of changes in equity, and then the cash flow statement, mailalagay po yun sa notes to financial statement. So bakit po ba natin pinag-aaralan, no, itong mga financial statements na to? So di ba in accounting, ang basic purpose natin, we would be able at the end of the whole accounting cycle makapag-provide tayo ng information that would be useful to our intended users. So marami po yung mga intended users na yan. Meron tayong mga internal and external users. And in preparing financial statements, na-achieve po natin yung isang goal natin na ma-communicate natin, no, itong financial information na ito. So para po masabi natin na ang end product, no, nitong accounting ay itong paggawa, no, or yung pag-present itong mga financial statements. Alright? So ang una po sa listahan natin, uulitin ko, ay yung statement of financial position. Now, ano ba yung mga elements, no, inside the statement of financial position? So, in your basic accounting, maybe nare-recall mo, no, yung basic equation. Ano po yung equation na yon? That is, asset is equal to our liabilities plus equity. So, yung tinutukoy po na tatlong elements na yan ay yung asset, liability, and equity. So, bigyan lang po natin sila ng short description. So, when you say asset or assets, these are the resources that are controlled, no, by the company or by the individual na merong let's say may right over those assets. So, ang pinag-uusapan po dito is the control, not mere possession. Kasi hindi po automatic na kapag ka tayo yung may hawak ng asset, or let's say meron tayong property at meron tayong physical possession nun, sa atin po yun. So, ang kailangan po dito, meron tayong right over the use. No? We can decide what will happen or ano po, or saan natin gagamitin yung ating mga assets. So, kumbaga may control tayo doon. So, I'll give one example. Halimbawa po, meron tayo, let's say, franchise. So, yung franchise po, ano ba yung mga common, no? Very popular sa Philippines, yung mga fast food stores po na yun, ano? Jollibee and McDonald's. Sila po, most of the establishments or businesses ay na-acquire sila through franchise. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng right, no, to use, no, yung pangalan nitong mga establishments na ito, pero hindi naman ibig sabihin or hindi naman necessarily na kailangan tayo agad, no, yung may-ari. Kumbaga, binibili natin yung rights para magamit natin yung pangalan na yon. Okay? So, yun, mako-consider natin siya as our asset, especially kung legal and binding yung franchise agreement natin, no, with the original owners o yung talagang may hawak or may-ari ng Jollibee or McDonald's. Okay? Now, assets, for them to be recognized then, ay kailangan resulta sila ng past events. So, ang ibig sabihin lang po nun, before we have the actual possession or bago tayo magkaroon ng control or right over the assets, kailangan meron munang economic transaction or event. Maaring yan, na-acquire natin yan or through an exchange, an economic exchange na bili, o kaya kahit hindi natin nabayaran ng cash, we have a promise na babayaran natin yun, no? Promise to pay, no? Yung certain amount para magkaroon tayo ng right over such assets, no? So, resulta ito ng past event. So, hindi naman mangyayari na we can possess an asset na hindi pa naman tayo nabibigyan ng right, no? Ano ba example nun? Halimbawa, mamanahan pa lang natin or mamanahin pa lang natin sa lolo at lola natin, ano? So, yung mamanahin na yon, hindi nagbibigay ng legal right agad sa atin na meron tayong masasabi natin na control over those assets. Alright? Ano pa? So, sinasabi rin na asset if it will provide future economic benefit. So, ultimately, kaya natin nire-recognize na asset yan is because in the near future or future, masasabi natin na meron tayong magiging pakinabang, no? Pakinabang over those assets. Kumbaga, magbibigay sa atin, magbibigay ng inflow sa atin ng other resources, no? Kapag sa atin yung mga resources na yan. Okay? Ano pa? No? So, pangalawa na element ay yung liabilities. Okay, but before I define liabilities, so sir, can you give us examples of assets? So very common, siyempre, doon sa iyong basic accounting, ano ba yung mga example ng mga assets na yan? You have cash, no? You have accounts receivable. Meron din tayong mga prepaid assets, kagaya ng prepaid supplies, prepaid rent, no? Kung na tayo ay merchandising, meron din tayong merchandise inventory, alright? And then meron din tayo, of course, yung mga properties, plant and equipment natin, mga equipment, furnitures and fixtures, no? These are examples of assets, okay? And then, going back dun sa ating liabilities, yung liabilities po, these are present obligations naman, no? Present obligations that also resulted from a past event. Okay, so kumbaga, nagkaroon tayo ng liability because in the past, no, maaari nagkaroon din ng economic transaction or exchange at kumbaga meron tayong mapakikinabangan or napakinabangan, and with that, magkakaroon tayo ng responsibility or obligation, no? Magkakaroon tayo ng liability para ma-settle natin yung nangyaring transaction na yon, ano? So, paano natin i-settle? Maybe that's the question. So, if it will require you to give up resources, no? So kapag na-require tayo na babayaran natin yan, either we use our cash o kaya magbigay tayo ng inventories, magbenta tayo, ano? O kaya naman ay yung mismong ating mga non-current assets, mga long-term assets natin, yun ang ibebenta natin, ano, para mabayaran natin or in exchange dun sa ating obligation, then yun yung sinasabi natin na kailangan natin i-settle or mag-give up tayo ng resources in the future. So as a present obligation, it's very important na yan ay at present, no, still existing yung ating liability, no? Kumbaga, dapat pag sinabi natin na present obligation, yung talagang it's either meron tayong constructive obligation or legal obligation with that na dapat ay isa-settle natin. Okay? Example, so madalas ko sinasabi sa aking mga estudyante, sa accounting, sa mga forms, syempre pagka sinabi natin na liability, one evidence is that there is a word payable sa dulo. Pero of course, there are certain liabilities na hindi naman payable, kagaya halimbawa, unearned income. So, yung word na unearned income, meaning the company already received payment, na-receive na niya yung payment, pero sa future, kailangan pa niyang mag-render ng services para ma-meet yung obligation niya doon sa client or sa customer na pag-renderan niya ng service. Pero since na-receive niya in advance yung payment ng client or customer, nag-a-arise ngayon yung obligation niya na mag-render ng service or mag-provide ng goods sa future. Okay po? And then, pwede rin halimbawa accrued expense, or accrued expenses. Hindi naman payable yung nasa dulo nun, pero the mere fact na yun ay accrued, ano po ba yung ibig sabihin accrued? Well, accrued means these are already incurred. So, kumbaga nung incurred is nagamit na ng company but not yet paid. Alright? So, ibig sabihin nung nagamit na, maaring in the first place, na-render na sa atin yung services, Halimbawa, yung company, may mga employees siya, And then for that, let's say, isang complete month ay nag-render ng services sa atin, pero we're not yet able to pay them, Di pa natin sila nababayaran. So, mag-a-arise yung mga accrual ng salaries natin, So, when you say accrued salaries, we have a salaries payable. So, dapat nating isettle or bayaran yon, Alright, so ano pa yung mga example ng ating mga liabilities? So, very common na yung ating accounts payable, notes payable, salaries, interest payable, and then may tinatawag din tayong mga bonds payable and then mortgage payable. So, later, pag-uusapan natin ano ba yung mga classification ng mga liabilities na yan, okay? And then, yung letter C is about the equity. Well, yung equity po, this is the residual element inside the balance sheet. So when I say residual, after settling all the liabilities and obligations from the assets, after mabayaran yon, what remains would be the equity. The equity represents the interest of the owner over the business. So doon po sa pinakita ko na equation dyan sa may ibaba, yan yung talagang siguro if you are studying accounting, isa yan sa mga pag-uusapan ninyo, yung equation. Very useful po yung equation na yan. So, ano ba yung ibig sabihin nun? Minsan, tinuturo ko yan, ano ba yung value na po pwede, or values na po pwede natin makuha dito sa equation na to? Kung papansinin mo, ang reflection niya is that the asset is equal to your liability. So, tinatanong ko nga sila, have you seen equations na ganito rin siya, pero ang inuuna ay yung equity. Pero kung papansinin mo, sa lahat din po ng textbook, ang nauuna ay yung liability. So ano po ba yung value doon, Well, ito, maaring creation ko lang, pero it would mean na if ever that there are existing liabilities, ito muna yung unang sinesettle. Paano sinesettle? So kung meron tayong available na asset, dapat bayaran muna natin lahat ng ating outstanding or existing liabilities. Kaya nga sabi ko, kung may matitira pa, tsaka yan ma-extend, ma-extend sa equity. Okay? Minsan kasi, di ba, ano ba yung ugaling Pilipino kapag halimbawa uutang na? Di ba? Kapag uutang na tayo. So, ang nangyayari doon, kapag uutang, mabilis tayong lalapit, mabilis tayong mababang loob tayong lalapit para makautang, and then afterwards kapag ito na yung panahon ng payment or ng bayaran, naglalaho na. Okay, naglalaho na tayo. Pero dapat, 'di ba, since napakinabangan natin yung supposed to be na utang natin na yan, dapat meron din tayong obligation na isettle sila. So bago tayo let's say magpo-post ka sa social media na you're so blessed, 'di ba? Yun naman ang palaging term, that you are so blessed. Tapos kung saan ka nakakarating, kung saan ka nagpupunta, except ngayon kasi pandemic tayo, pero yung pala, ang dami palang obligations, marami palang humahanap sa iyo. So for my students, kung talagang na-appreciate nila yung accounting equation, so if ever that there would be an available na or enough assets for that, isettle first yung ating mga obligations, then whatever remain, yun yung interest natin. That's our equity. All right? So let us move on, no, with my next slide. So for this slide, I'll be presenting naman yung how to classify, no, yung content ng ating balance sheet or yung statement of financial position. Well, we can present our balance sheet either in a classified form or an unclassified form. So, yung unclassified form is very common in the companies kagaya ng mga bangko, no? Kasi sa bangko, ang kailangan nila yung liquidity, ano, ng kanilang mga resources. So, kina-classify nila yan according to its liquidity. So, ano ba yung liquidity? Liquidity would mean that yung ability ng ating resources or ng assets natin to be converted back into cash, no? So, madalas ko sinasabi sa kanila, what's the most liquid asset? Of course, ang most liquid asset would be cash because there's no need, no? Hindi mo na kailangan mag-effort pa to convert it back into cash kasi cash na yun eh, no? Alright. Then, meron din namang paraan wherein you can classify it as either current or non-current. So, pag-usapan natin yan. So, it will apply to both assets and liabilities. Now, as to assets, assets can be classified as current asset if it is expected to be realized within 12 months. So, ano po ba yung ibig sabihin nun? I-highlight na rin natin, ano? From the end of the reporting period. So, to be realized within 12 months from the end of the reporting period. So, tandaan po natin, yung reporting period, yun po yung point na kailangan nating magpakita or mag-present ang ating financial statements, no? So, di ba, there are two fundamental or basic na reporting periods. Meron tayong tinatawag na calendar and fiscal period. Now, for simplicity, I will use the calendar period. So, yung calendar period po natin, nagsisimula ng January yan and natatapos ng December. So, let's say, kailangan nating mag-prepare ng financial statement kasi traditionally, financial statements are prepared annually yan, di ba? Pero hindi naman ibig sabihin na palaging annual. So, kung calendar period yan, magagawa tayo, let's say ngayong taon, no, 2020, gagawa tayo ng financial statement December 31, ang ending natin ay 2020. Okay, so hayaan nyo lang pong i-drawing ko kahit medyo pangit yung aking pagkakagawa. So, let's say ang ating reporting period or calendar period ending December 31, 2020. No? Kailan po ba yung sinasabi na it must be realized within 12 months? So, ibig sabihin po nun, from this point, nagagawa tayo ng report or financial statement up to the point or 12 months after, so that is 2021, December 31. No? So, December 31 din po yun, 2021 naman. So, yung pagitan po na ito, if the asset is expected to be realized. What would realize mean? No? Ano po bang ibig sabihin ng realized? Ibig sabihin, you can convert it or claim it back into cash. Okay, the other term would be kapag sinabi natin marirealize, pwede rin mako-consume natin, may-used, magagamit natin, ano? O kaya naman, may pambibili natin ng sa ibang, may ko-convert natin into other forms, no? So, yun po yung sinasabi natin. Pero basically, ang gusto mangyari ng realization is yung ability nga to be converted back or to be claimed back into cash. Okay po? So, ano ba yung mga example natin that we can classify as current assets or consumable, no? Consumable siya within or sa loob ng 12 months. O ano-ano po yun? So, unang-una na po doon, nakalagay dyan, yung ating cash, no? And then, yung ating accounts receivable. Yung accounts receivable natin, that is the verbal or oral promise natin that we are paying certain item, no? So, including yung ating allowance for doubtful account. Well, this allowance for doubtful account is a contra-asset account, no? Yan po yung, if there is a probability na hindi natin makukolekta yung receivable, ibinabawas natin yung portion na yan sa ating accounts receivable. And then, well, inventories, no? Kasi, di ba, very common naman, if nagme-maintain tayo ng inventory, kailangan, syempre, nagkakaroon ng, nagre-revolve yun, ano? Umiikot siya, no? Hindi naman po pwedeng in-acquire natin and then abutan na ng expiration sa atin yan. So, within a period of 12 months, nare-replenish natin yung receivable, nabibenta natin, then nag-acquire tayo ulit. So, itong inventories na to, considered sila as current asset. Okay? And then, we have prepaid assets or prepaid expenses, no? So, yun, no, another term, baka mamaya ang makita mo ay prepaid expense, isipin mo na hindi asset. Well, pag sinabi sa part ng accounting parlance pag prepaid expense, ang tinutukoy niya mga prepaid assets. So example nito, we have supplies, no? And then insurance, and then prepaid rent, no? And then minsan kapag yung interest, we can also prepay that, no? Interest dun sa obligation, no? Or let's say interest dun sa receivable natin, ano? So prepaid interest, no? Pwede rin po 'yan. And then next, ano naman yung non-current? So tinatanong ka ng estudyante mo, what will be your definition of non-current asset? Ako sinasabi ko, if the asset cannot be classified as current, then it will be non-current. Okay? So that's the simplest definition. Kapag hindi natin makaklassify na current yan, magpo-fall yan into a non-current asset. Pero kidding aside, totoo naman yon, because non-current assets are those that we can let's say realize, we can use for more than 12 months. So yung kanilang usefulness sa atin or pagiging asset natin ay in-expect natin na mag-generate sila ng future benefit sa atin nang hihigit pa sa 12 months. So, ano yung mga example natin yan? If the company has what? Land. Land is a non-current asset. Pwede rin building, no? And also yung equipment. And then added to that, we have furnitures, fixtures. If ever na meron tayong property, no? May property tayo, and then yung property natin, dinevelop natin yon, and then pinarentahan natin. That is what you call an investment property, and then that investment property is also a non-current asset, no? And then halimbawa meron tayong nagre-renta lang tayo, no? Yung isang space nire-rentahan natin, dinevelop natin yon. So yung nagkaroon tayo ng leasehold improvement. So yung leasehold improvement is also a non-current asset, ano? All right. So let's continue, no? And then how about liabilities? So sa liabilities meron din tayong current and non-current, no? So same din yung point of classification. If it will be settled within 12 months, then it is considered as current. Okay? Pero kapag naman kailangan nating bayaran or meron tayong obligation to pay it beyond 12 months, then ika-classify natin as non-current. So gusto ko sabihin that these are general rules, no? Ang general rule natin is this, no? Kapag ang isang asset or liability ay expected to be used or to be settled within 12 months or less than 12 months, then it is a current item, current asset or current liability. Pero beyond 12 months, it will be classified now as non-current asset or non-current liability. Kung magagamit natin more than 12 months, kung kailangan nating isettle more than 12 months, then ang classification niya ay non-current. But of course, there is an exception to that rule. Ano yon? If ever that we encounter, let's say, mga trade payables or trade receivables, meaning ito yung mga terms na ginagamit natin as part of our the ordinary course or operating cycle ng business, no? So yung mga trade payables, since halimbawa involved tayo sa buying and selling of goods, no? So meron tayong mga trade receivables, no? So yung mga trade receivables na yan, even though they would be exceeding 12 months, no, yung collection natin sa kanila, lalampas tayo ng 12 months, then still, ika-classify natin sila as current assets. So same is true with trade payables, no? In the conduct of our business, meron tayong mga, kumbaga, normal liabilities na palagi natin ginagamit because nagko-conduct tayo ng regular operations natin, tinatawag natin ng mga trade payables yun, no? So even though ang settlement natin we can extend beyond 1 year, then ika-classify pa rin natin sila as current liabilities. Okay? Now, ano ba yung mga example ng current liabilities? So baka ma-encounter mo, accounts payable, salaries payable, utilities payable, and then kanina sabi ko nga, yung unearned income. Okay, so may nagtatanong din sa atin, ano po ba ang classification daw ng notes payable? So dito, sinabi natin long-term note payable. So, may I emphasize this, ano? Kapag note payable yan, so there is a written promise to pay, no? So yung written promise to pay na yan, sabi ko nga, if you intend to pay it, no, kung babayaran mo yan agad, and if possible naman na wala ng promissory note, so pupunta ka na lang na accounts payable, pwede natin i-classify as current liability. Pero since meron kang document na gagamitin, and then siguro meron dyan interest involved, ang intention mo talaga is really to pay it for a longer time. So, sinasabi ko, ang sa akin, ang classification talaga ng notes payable would be a non-current liability. Okay, non-current liability po yan. Now, may mga portion, no? May mga portion po. Halimbawa, let's say meron tayong long-term liability, ang amount. So, magbibigay lang po ako ng amount, ano? Halimbawa po, ang amount ay 100,000. And then, this 100,000 is payable in installment, no? Payable installment. Let's say, ang reporting date natin is same, no? Same siya at 2020 at ito po ay payable in 5 years, no? Sa loob po ng 5 years natin. So ang ito is existing ito year 2020. So let's say dumating ang 2021, no? 2021. Sa pagitan po ng point na 'yan at ang agreement natin ay installment, no? Are we going to classify yung ating installment liability na yan na long term since 5 years siya dapat isettle? So po pwede po na yung portion which will mature within 12 months, yun po ay isa-settle natin o i-recognize natin as our current liability. So sa pagitan po ng 2020 up to 2021, kung diyan po siya dapat bayaran sa point na yan, yun pong 20,000 o yung unang installment natin must be recognized as our current liability. And then the rest, yung beyond the 2021 or yung 80,000 will be recognized or i-record or i-classify natin or yun, i-classify po natin sa ating balance sheet or statement of financial position as non-current liability. Okay po. Now, another example, ano po yung isa pang example natin? So let's say meron tayong 50,000, no, na loans payable, no, which will mature, hindi po ito installment, ano, magma-mature po siya ng 2022 and on our balance sheet or reporting date, which is ano yung nangyari sa kanya, no? So erase lang po natin, which will be recognized, no? Ngayon po yung period natin, yung reporting period natin ay 2020. Paano natin siya i-recognize kung ang kanyang maturity date ay sa 2022 pa? So sa 2020, the whole amount, 50,000, will be recognized as non-current liability. Bakit po non-current liability? Because yung maturity niya, no, kumbaga isa-settle natin siya ilang taon pa from 2020. So 2 years pa po from 2020, no? So non-current liability 'yon. So paano kapag ka nag-report tayo 2021 na? I mean, di ba? Traditionally, sabi ko nga, gagawa tayo ng financial statement. So, 2021 na, ano na ngayon ng reporting natin? Diyan sa 50,000 na yan. So, from 2021 to 2022, di ba may 12 months, no? So, that's the time na yung nirecognize natin na non-current liability nung 2020 will now be reclassified as current liability. Okay? So, i-reclassify na po natin siya as current liability because masasatisfy yung definition natin that it should be settled within 12 months from the reporting date. Okay po? Alright, so ito yung mini-mention ko kanina, no? So if ever that you will encounter in accounting situations or cases natin, no? Yung mga ginagamit po natin ng mga textbooks, kapag po ang nakalagay ay mga trade receivables, even though they would be collected for more than 12 months, then still, ika-classify natin sila as current assets. Okay, so trade receivables are presented as current assets, no? Kahit na sila pa even if the, sabi dyan, normal operating cycle is more than 12 months. Okay, however, yun pong ating mga non-trade receivables naman, yung mga ordinary receivables natin na not necessarily part nga, no? So siguro sa term na ginamit ko, hindi siya talaga part ng regular operation natin, no? Pero nagkakaroon tayo ng mga receivables na ganyan, then ika-classify natin sila as current asset doon sa ating general requirement na which will be collected daw within 12 months from the reporting period. So, yung pagkakaroon ng term na trade, that is, kumbaga, exception to the rule natin. So, ang basic rule, again, uulitin ko, is that current siya if it will be settled within 12 months or to be collected within 12 months. So, same is true with our trade payables. So, ganun din po yung classification niya. Alright, so, in preparing statement of financial position, meron po tayong tinatawag ng mga line items. So, what are line items? Line items are, or is the caption that is used to describe a group of similar accounts or similar nature. So, for example, yung cash, di ba? Meron tayong mga cash na cash in bank, cash on hand, petty cash fund, no? So sila, we can classify them in one line item called cash and cash equivalent. So, example natin, ayan yun, no? So, nakapaloob na dyan. Kumbaga, in presenting it in your balance sheet, pwede tayong maglagay ng notes doon, no? So, note doon, let's say note 1, no? Cash and cash equivalent, ano yung mga nandun, nakapaloob doon. So, magkakaroon doon ng item about cash on hand, 10,000, cash in bank, 50,000. And then yung total balance niya, which is 60,000, yun yung ipepresent natin on the face of your balance sheet as cash and cash equivalent. So, same is true with receivables kasi marami rin yun, no? So, iba-iba yung klase ng receivables natin. We can present it as one line item, trade and other receivables. And then we have inventory, prepaid assets, and then property, plant, and equipment. No? Sama-sama na po doon yung mga non-current assets po natin. Okay po? Then, same is true with our liabilities. So, sa liabilities naman, in one line item, trade and other payable. So, nakapaloob na dyan yung, let's say, salaries payable natin. Ano? So, nandyan na po yun. And then, andito rin yung mga short-term borrowings. So, commonly, sineseparate nila yung mga short-term borrowings na para mabigyan ng emphasis dun sa loob ng ating balance sheet, no? And then, ito yung binabanggit natin kanina, if it is for an installment, so yung current portion, no? Kailangan makita yon, masignify dun as a separate item or line item sa loob ng ating financial statement or nung balance sheet natin. Okay? Now, ano yung mga forms, no? Yung mga forms na ginagamit, we have yung vertical and horizontal. So, paano po ba yung vertical? So, nakita nyo, nire-report natin o ine-enumerate natin yung mga elements. Mauna muna yung asset, followed by all the liabilities, and then third yung equity. So, nakapatayo siya, no? Report form. So, vertical yon, no? Now, ito yung mas useful, no? Actually, useful naman sila. Pero ito yung popular na ginagamit, no? Ng mga nagpe-prepare or nagpe-present ng financial statement. So, why? Kasi, mas sinusuportahan niyo or nagagamit natin siya dun sa concept ng comparability. So, makakita kayo class ng mga financial statements, specifically balance sheet, commonly pinapresent sila ng 2 periods. Yung current period, so let's say 2020 yan, and then katabi niyan ay yung previous year, which is 2019. So, yung mga figures o yung mga amount presented dito, no? Para nakikita natin yung comparison. So, dito naman ini-enumerate yung iba-ibang assets, no? Naka-enumerate sila dyan. Alright? Now, the other form of the balance sheet ay yung tinatawag nilang account form. So, ang dapat lang natin isipin, ano ba yung itsura ng isang account? So, you can imagine a large or a big T account, no? So, isang malaking T account yon, wherein yung total or yung, let's say, specifics ng assets ay makikita mo sa left side, no? And then yung specifics ng liabilities, yung mga items ng liabilities and equity, makikita mo naman sa right side. So, yun yung sinasabi natin na account form, no? So, ito useful naman, no? Wala namang talagang prescribe, no, na form kung anong form ba ng balance sheet ang gagawin. Pero sabi ko nga, naging practice natin for purposes of comparability, ginagamit natin ay ang report form. Now, this is an example of a report form, no? So, ito, pinakita dito is for 1 year only, December 31. This is as of December 31, 20x1, no? So, pinakita dito na in-enumerate natin yung assets, liabilities, and equity. Okay? Naka-vertical sila, no? So, naka-vertical. Di ba, in FS analysis, very useful din yung paggamit ng report form sa horizontal analysis, di ba? Ginagamit yan sa horizontal analysis. Alright, so makikita mo dyan, ipe-present natin, of course, naka-line item, no? Ito yung tinutukoy natin, ano? Kaya may number na ganyan, makikita mo yan sa notes to financial statements or notes to this balance sheet. Yung note number 1, dito nakapaloob yung information about your cash and cash equivalent. So nakapaloob na po dyan kung may cash on hand ba, may cash in bank ba, may petty cash fund ba, no? So doon naman sa trade receivable, trade and other receivables naman, so yung iba, aside from the trade receivable, yung iba pang mga receivables ng company. Alright? So yun yung intention or purpose kung bakit nagkakaroon ng line item and also nagkakaroon ng notes to financial statement. Okay? So para mas simplified yung face, no, yung harap mismo ng ating balance sheet or statement of financial position. Alright? So actually, ito yung end ng ating discussion, pero ganun pa man, meron lang akong gustong iwan sa inyo, no? So, sabi natin kanina, kung i-recall ninyo, ginagamit pa rin natin yung equation na asset is equal to liability plus equity. So, importante na mag-a-account tayo. So, bilang mga future accountants, importante rin na i-account natin ano ba yung mga resources na meron tayo. Then, if ever, meron ba tayong mga present obligations na dapat paghandaan, no? And tsaka natin isettle para makita natin ano ba talaga yung sa atin. Ano ba talaga yung equity o yung residual portion para sa atin. So, importante na makita natin to because tatandaan mo, hindi dahil mataas ang assets or malaki yung assets, that would mean maganda na yung business. Diba? Kasi if you're going to use the equation, kung malaki yung assets or marami tayong assets pero these assets naman ay hindi naman sa atin dahil malaki rin bahagi yung napupunta sa liability or hindi talaga tayo yung may portion para doon. Kung hindi obligations natin sa ibang party, sa third party or sa ibang creditors natin, then hindi necessarily na sa atin lahat. Alright? So same is true with a simple Pilipino, no? Isang Pilipino, no? Si Juan de la Cruz, no? Na nakikita mo, ang dami-dami niyang gadgets, ang dami-dami niyang kung ano-anong gamit, bagong sasakyan, bagong bahay, etc. Pero minsan, 'di ba, naiinggit tayo, no? Naiinggit tayo. Pero di natin na-realize na yung palang mga assets o resources na meron siya, hindi naman pala talaga sa kanya. Because yung mga yun pala ay galing sa, let's say, sa loan, no? Inutang pala yun, no? So, syempre maganda pa rin sana kung ang equation na magamit natin, all our assets ay sa atin. But always remember na anuman ang meron tayo, hiram natin 'yan, no? So ang talaga pa ring may-ari niyan and even ourselves ay si God. Okay? So, huwag tayo makakalimot na kung sakasakaling magkakaroon tayo, yun mga yun ay ipinahiram lang din sa atin. At matuto tayo dapat magbalik. Okay? So with that, I would like to say thank you. Thank you sa inyong pakikinig.